visionary, an entrepreneur, a business owner. You want to make money from your passion and create the freedom that you've dreamed of. But it's slow. The income is slow, the impact is slow, and the freedom is slow. And here's the kicker. You've actually never been busier. You're working longer than ever, burning through daylight, and your family have forgotten who you are. You're tired and frustrated and you can't even sleep well at night. The business just feels so heavy, and all you ever wanted to do was just make the money you want to make doing the things that you want to do. And that's where I come in. Hi, if we haven't met yet, my name is Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I'm the host of the Business Acceleration Podcast, where we shift your business from heavy to light, time poor to time abundant, and from income lack to income growth. We're going to achieve it together with my 20 years experience as a psychologist, helping people just like you to break through their barriers. And we're going to throw in a little of the woo as well. So thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Welcome to another episode of the Business Acceleration Podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I'm very excited to introduce you to Dana and David Hagstrom. Thank you so much for being on the program today, guys.
You're very welcome. We're delighted to be here.
Yes, it's an honor, Brooklyn.
Thank you. So I would love it if you could tell us a little bit about who you help and how you help them.
Okay. We help online marketers to develop a profitable business without being overwhelmed. And what we often find is that people are overwhelmed by all of the different tasks and skill sets that are needed for online marketing. And we help them by walking through a series of questions to figure out exactly what they need to focus on now in order to take the next step forward, so that they're not trying to do everything at once and find themselves just overwhelmed by the process.
Okay. And so how long have you both been doing this for? Sorry, I think we should let everybody know. Are you married or?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, great. Just thought I would double check. And so how long have you guys had the business for, and how did it first begin?
Well, it depends. We can track our business all the way back probably 10, 12 years when we first started to dabble in online, marketing this way or that way. We had online stores, we've done blogging, but this main focus has probably been just the last couple years.
Yes, it was. In fact, we could almost track it back to a particular night. We were working for some time in online marketing ourselves. And one night we were in a hotel room after a long day of training, meeting with our mentor. And we were reviewing our business plan. And at a certain point, he just stopped me and said, "Well, you're ready. You need to be coaching others now." And I was sort of shocked at the time. I certainly didn't feel ready for that. But looking back, I realized that in my 34-year ministry career, my gift for strategic planning had led to my positions as senior pastor in a large congregation and executive pastor coaching staff members in a huge congregation. And then I basically transferred that skill for strategic planning into this new business area. And what he was telling me is, hey, it's time to start sharing that. So we began coaching our own small group of online marketers.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. You can picture the mama bird and her baby birds in the nest. And the mama says, nope, it's time to go fly. And the babies are like, no. And I know that's how both of us felt at first. But, when you're gifted in a certain way and you really want to give back to the community that has helped you, it's the perfect fit.
And there was one more step in that, because as we were coaching others, we realized that, we could help them with almost any individual piece of online marketing. It was still sort of hit and miss which piece to work on when. like we were putting pieces into a puzzle, but we didn't have a picture to go by to know where the pieces went. And then for us, that was how we developed our business too, a piece here, a piece there, and just sort of hit and miss. And then finally, it all came into focus for us. And we got to the place where we could walk through a list of questions and we could say, okay, here's the next step for you. You can set those other things aside, focus on this thing now, and then this next, and so on. And that was a real turning point. And our level of excitement and enthusiasm just went through the roof when we got to that point. Yeah. And realizing that we could help people to create a profitable online business without being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you think people are feeling overwhelmed when they start online marketing?
I think because there are so many voices out there and so many tools and resources, you can't, you start to, it's like information overload and what to do when. You listen to this person that has great success and they're telling you to do this because that's what worked for them. And so you try it. Well, it doesn't work. And so you start to look for someone else to follow. And pretty soon you've got all these things and you haven't, it's like on a hamster wheel. You're trying so hard, but you're getting nowhere fast.
Well, and then I think of what are the exciting things. People say, well, you need to be on Facebook. You need to be on YouTube. You need to develop a podcast. You need to, and there's so many different things you can do. And what we often find is that people are doing a bunch of these things and maybe even buying ads, and they haven't even defined who their target audience is or have a specific offer that they're marketing to people, or knowing how they're going to bring people in at an easy level, and then ascend up a value ladder to help them to monetize their business as they move along the way. Often it's the fundamentals, the very basic things that people are missing, and they're spending time spinning their wheels doing things that they're really not ready for.
Yes. And so can you explain a little bit what marketing actually is?
Sure. Marketing is a matter of placing an offer in front of people who are actually looking for that. And so you have to have an offer that is exciting or enticing to a particular market. And you have to know where to find those people that are looking for that product. And then you want to simply place an offer in front of them that allows them to check out what you have to offer.
And craft the message to match what they're looking for. When you can know who you want to serve, and you know the problems that they have, that they're struggling with, and that you have a solution to bring, it's putting that solution out there in a way that attracts them to you.
Not wanting to oversimplify things, I think that message to market matching, the particular offer to the particular people is probably 90% of the process. Mm-hmm. And if you get that right, it's hard to go wrong.
Right.
That's brilliant. I really love how you articulated that message to market match is 90%. That's going to become one of the quotes that we use to promote your episode, I think, because that speaks volumes. It's really, really wonderful. I think a lot of clients that I work with and people that listen to the podcast are in the health and wellness industry. And so they might be very good practitioners. They might be great counselors, psychologists, Reiki therapists, whatever it is that they're doing. But when it comes to having conversations with them around marketing, they feel like it's really icky. They don't want to feel like a used car salesman. That's a common thing that comes up in conversations. And it just feels highly uncomfortable for them. What would you say to people who have that perspective about marketing?
Yeah, what immediately comes to mind is what one of our mentors has said, is that you're looking for people who are looking for you. You're not trying to sell anybody on something that they don't want. You're simply looking for the right people who are looking for what you have to offer.
And then there isn't any selling going on. You're just solving a problem, providing a service that's going to take away their pain or give them some pleasure that they're missing.
Exactly.
Okay. And what do you think are some of the mistakes that people make with their marketing? So imagine when you get to work with clients, perhaps you have a review of, what they've been doing, and you can give a bit of an assessment. What are some of the more common mistakes that the rest of us are falling into?
Well, one that immediately comes to mind, especially in health and wellness, since you mentioned that, is when you ask them the question, well, who is looking for the product that you have to offer? Well, everyone needs it. Everyone should want this. Everyone should buy this. And it might be that it would be good for everyone, but I doubt that everyone is looking for it. Not everybody is looking for health food or a weight supplement loss, or whatever it might be.
Right. There's that. And I think the one that came to my mind is promoting without having the, what's the word? Now it's just gone out of my head. Getting permission. I don't know how many times marketers try to pitch me their product or their service or solution, but they don't know that I have the problem that it solves. And so being attractive in your marketing or waiting till you have permission to promote something is also another problem that I see. That was how I was taught when we first got into business. Put your product everywhere. Everybody needs to know what you're doing. And that is not effective. It may help it right at first, or it may help some people, but it's not effective.
It probably turns off more people.
Yes.
Something as simple as saying, I market such and such, or a solution for such and such. Would you be interested in hearing about it? Allows people a chance to say no. Or not really, that's not something I'm interested in right now. And how much better to simply move on to the next person instead of trying to convince somebody that they need something that they're not interested in.
Absolutely. I think, you touched on perhaps niching a moment ago too. So there tends to be a lot of fear around that. Some people say, oh, well, if I niche down, then nobody's going to buy and I'm going to miss out on everything else. So it's very important that I be everything to everybody. Have you found that too? Yeah.
Exactly. That is very common. And I've been caught in that trap too. But niching down, like you said, is exactly what you need to do. And when you can be laser targeted and talking to the person, the one particular person, not the whole world may be listening, but that one niche person is.
Right. And when you say that one person, it's not like that's the only person who's going to buy your product, exactly. But we actually do that exercise in our marketing is we've described in detail the person that would be our ideal client.
Her name's Danielle, by the way.
And so when you write an email or we do a live or a video, that's who we're addressing. And we realize that there are lots of people that hear it. There's a lot of people that may be interested, but we have in mind a particular person, which makes it easier for us to speak. And hopefully people find themselves, either they resonate with that need, or they say, nope, I'm going to go on to the next video. Not that we want people to skip off ours, but we want to attract the people that will be interested.
Absolutely. I think some people too worry if they niche down that they're not going to make any money.
Yeah,
what would you say to that? Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that's true. But a general offer tends to not be nearly as interesting to someone looking for a specific solution. And whereas if you can describe the problem that they have, and that you have a solution to that problem, they will jump on it. And it works much better to be very specific and let people self-select whether this is something they're interested in, than to try to paint a general picture that is not very interesting to most people.
And do you think when it comes to marketing that we need to be all over social media? Do we need to be promoting on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and an email list, and be doing the Facebook Lives and be on Instagram and Instagram TV? I mean, where does it stop?
Right. It won't stop unless you set boundaries. And we always encourage our folks to start with one. And get really, really good with one. Build an audience there. And that may be all you ever need. But there is also benefit for being seen in multiple places, but not at first. Yeah. We got into that problem. We were told by someone to be seen on all the different platforms. And so we do have a presence, but it takes a lot of time. Now, if you have a lot of time, that's fine. But we find most of the folks we work with are either still working a full-time job and are trying to fit their business building into just a few hours a day, or they're working their business full-time but want to have that time freedom. And so they really only have a couple hours a day. So there's only so many things you can get accomplished unless you want to start outsourcing. And again, that is another higher level strategy.
Again, outsourcing is a great strategy for those people whose business is already bringing in cash flow.
Exactly.
But for the solopreneur, which is what we run into most frequently, they really need to start in one place and get good at it, and then move on to the next and add another if they like. Every one of those places that you mentioned is a great place to market. Mm-hmm. But to try to do them all at once can be absolutely overwhelming. And that's one of the things we run into most frequently, and have to say, let's start in one place and focus there.
And get one going well. Because if you're doing one and it's not working, you're going to take the same bad habits to another one and blame the platform. And we've seen that time and again as well.
Yes, we've seen that, blaming the product or blaming the platform. Yeah. A lot of people going from product to product to product saying, I'm going to find the right one someday. Well, not realizing that
the problem's them.
Exactly.
Sorry, I may have ruffled a few feathers there, but...
No, that's really good advice. And as you were talking, I was reflecting too about is sometimes people have too many products. And I was one of those people as well. I would have a product and then I'd sell it and then I'd think, what else should I do? And I'd come up with something else. I was always putting myself under a lot of pressure. So I was always very busy coming up with new things. It took me a while to realize it's okay just to have the one thing, master that and do it really, really well. But I was wondering too, what are your thoughts on sharing personal stories as part of your marketing approach or marketing strategy? I know it's something that's become quite on trend over the last couple of years. But what do you think? Is it something we should be looking at or not? Are there any boundaries we should be putting around it?
There again, it depends on the person, but we do support, being real and to put your story out there. People are going to resonate with that. In fact, I'm working through a challenge right now where, we're really having to dig into some really deep stories, but things that I've accomplished in my life, things that I've overcome. And if I incorporate that in my marketing, there's other people out there that may not have overcome it yet. They're going to resonate with me and they're going to follow me, even if they don't know what my product is. And pretty soon they're going to be interested in, what's she doing? So we're building an audience. And I think when you can be real and raw and share yourself, you're building that rapport, you're building that trust so much faster.
Yes, the basic principle there, I think, is that people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And if they have the feeling that they don't really know you, that makes it a little bit harder for them to trust you, to buy from you. It's interesting that people buy based on emotions and on a sense of relationship with someone, often more than a product description or what features you have. And which brings up another marketing principle that people are much more interested in how is this product going to benefit them than they are in does it have 100% pure ingredients? Are they entirely organic? And a list of all the different features that your product hits on. They may want to check those things out at some point, but it's the relationship that makes them feel good about having an exchange of value with this other person.
Yeah. And so when you're talking about the importance of developing know, like, and trust, you discussed that stories are one way that people can get to know us, our audience can build that relationship with us. Are there any other things that we could be doing to build know, like, and trust with our audience?
Well, it's when you give. I think when we come from a heart of gratefulness and giving, people sense that as well. So whether you're doing that on a blog through your articles or if you're on YouTube and you're providing value, but however you're doing it, to always be a giver. And, one of our mentors said, give the farm away, whatever, just give, because it will come back to you.
Along with that, I know that some people are afraid of revealing their secrets. And we've got some particular secrets that are, so effective that nobody else has figured out yet. And we're going to hide that. And, as we began to learn more and more, we realized that those are probably some of the best things to share with others. If you really want to show that you are genuinely concerned about their business and helping them. And then you just trust that as you give to others that you'll receive in kind.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I love that whole idea of giving first, leading with generosity and leading with gratitude. And you're right, I've heard that too about some people wanting to keep their cards very close to their chest because they're saying, oh, I don't want to give away my best stuff because then nobody's ever going to want to buy from me. And people will tell me that they've had that experience. I'll say, oh, I've been, it's blood, sweat and tears to put this webinar together that's free, and I've been giving away my best stuff and still nobody's buying, and I'm empty. I have nothing left. And then they kind of feel like, where do I go from here?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. What are your thoughts on how often we should be sharing our marketing? I mean, do we have to email somebody 3 times a week? Do we have to be posting on social media every single day? Do we need to be going to networking events on a monthly basis? Like, what's the general guideline around that?
Consistency. Whatever it is, you pick what works for you, your business, your audience, and be consistent with it.
I will say that those that are frequently out there, that do email their list daily and put something out daily or multiple times a day, are seen more and have the opportunity to, get an offer in front of people more frequently, and often are the people that are doing the best. On the other hand, if you don't have anything to say every day, wait till you have something to say, and make good use of people's time when they do listen to you.
Yes, so not just speak for the sake of speaking.
Right. We've both gotten tired of listening to people that are just out there because they've been told that they need to get out there and say something every day, and we very quickly realize they don't have anything to say.
Yeah. So with business, I think sometimes we're lacking in marketing skills among lots of other skills. We might be very good at what's bringing in the money, like with coaching or counseling or something like that. But, we've never been to business school and we don't understand about some of those other things. What would you say would be 3 pieces of advice for people who are listening to this podcast and they're thinking, holy dooly, I think I need to make some changes here? Where should they start? How can they begin to simplify their marketing?
Well, the first thing we would ask them is to test their foundations. Do they know where they're headed, what problem they solve, who their biggest fan would be, and how they're going to make money? Those are the foundational questions. And we've done taught webinars recently on each of those 4 sets of questions. That's what I think of as the foundation. They really need to have their foundation in place first. Secondly, they need to have what I think of as a pipeline for profit. They need to have a way of bringing people in, a step-by-step process for leading them along and demonstrating their authority, teaching, nurturing their leads until they're ready, and then a way of a deciding event to lead them to where they make a decision whether or not to buy. And then the third thing is they need to have some way of releasing the flow of leads and cash flow. And that usually begins with some form of getting free traffic or getting free eyeballs on their offer using social media to get a flow going. And they could use any of those platforms that you mentioned just a little while ago. But once they get some leads coming in, they need to also have a way of providing targeted content and beginning to develop their authority in the marketplace. And all of those things come long before starting any kind of ad strategy. Ads and advertising is great, But I've seen far too many people get into doing that before they're ready and spending a lot of money without seeing a lot of return.
Yes, I love it because I think a lot of us got this upside down, and I think we all just thought, oh, I've got this service and I better get a Facebook ad together and I better do my Google AdWords.
We've been there too.
Yeah. Why isn't it working? I've spent, thousands of dollars and I'm not getting any results. And so what do? We just throw more money at it, or we hire somebody else to throw some more money at it for us. And
or we give up.
We give up. Yes. So I absolutely understand what you're saying about all of this stuff needs to be done first. Do you think people don't do that stuff first because they don't know, or because it just feels really hard?
Probably
it requires effort, a bit of both.
Yes, I think part of it is that they don't know. And then the other part of it is that when they first hear those things, they don't sound all that exciting. It's much more exciting to develop an ad or have a social media presence or something. And those things are great, but each one in its place and at the right stage in the process.
Okay. And what do you think about this whole idea of buying followers for your social media? So, there's some companies out there and you can pay them $20 a month and they're going to get you 300, apparently very legitimate followers. What do you think about that? Is that something that's going to help somebody social proof and help their business, or probably not?
Probably not. I know we tried one strategy like that early on and got a huge number of followers from some obscure country that I can't even remember right now that didn't speak English and certainly would have no interest in our product. And it's all too easy to fall into those kind of things. And often that means you just have to start over and set up a new profile and discard the old one because the people on it don't have any interest in what you're doing. That's one of the problems, and we really discourage people from buying followers because it's basically a waste of your money.
Yeah, I agree. There's been lots of people that have done that, and they thought that it was going to help them with their marketing. It was going to help them be seen and help them with their visibility. But yeah, what you're saying, David, it came true for those people as well. They have very little engagement on their posts, and
Sure.
There was no traction. And then other people coming along saying, why are there all these people that but they're not interacting? What's going on here? So it kind of did a little bit more harm than good for some people. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say that, when you put an ad out there, one of the big questions is who's going to see it? And are they people that are interested in what you have to offer? Well, the same is true if you do say you do a solo ad and someone sends out emails to a huge list on your behalf. Well, that can be a really great strategy if those people are interested in what you have to offer. But you really need to find out, what kind of list is this? Is this a list of people that would have any interest in my product? Is it a list that's already been bombarded with so many offers that they're not interested at all? That can easily happen as well. And not to discount Facebook ads or YouTube ads or solo ads at all, but they need to be used with wisdom. And at a stage in your business where you can afford what you're spending, even if you don't receive return on this particular endeavor.
Okay, that's such sage advice. Thank you so much. Now, would you be willing to share some of your best ways that people can connect with you so that they can find out a little bit more about what you do and what you offer?
Sure.
We have a website. That is one place. It's David, the letter N, Dana.com. So davidndana.com. We have a wealth of articles out there, but we have a Work With Us page, and get to know us a little bit more online there. And you can either fill out an application to work with us or just simply schedule an appointment to, talk with us some more. That's a great way.
Sure. Another one of our giveaways is a step-by-step process to attract ideal prospects without salesy talk. And if they'd like that in written form, they can go to our website, https://davidnDana.com/solution. And that will take them to a PDF that we've put together that has one of the things that we're proud of on it, as well as an outline to what we call Your Pathway to Profit, which is our signature process that we like to lead people through. Not that they need to do every step in the process, because every once in a while we find somebody that's experienced and they've really done a few steps right, but we're also able to point out which steps did they miss. And that's often very helpful.
I think that sounds like a mouth-watering offer, and I'm sure there'll be lots of people that rush to download that book and visit your site. I want to thank you so much for being on, and just before we finish, is there anything that you would like to leave our listeners with today? Any final thoughts, any final words of wisdom?
I think one thing I would leave them with is that as much as we've talked about learning marketing, and that's very important, working on yourself is also very important. And whatever it takes for you to be in a good place spiritually, emotionally, in terms of your energy level, those things are all really important as well. Dana writes a blog every morning that really doesn't have to do with marketing. It's simply her walk through a particular book of the Bible each day. Right now you're working through the book of Psalms.
No, Proverbs.
Proverbs. We've just published a book on Psalms.
Yes. But so that's one of the ways that I connect. Mm-hmm. And, God gave me this gift. And so I am able to give back and help other folks that are looking for, especially busy folks, wanting to connect.
Beside that devotional time each morning, one of the important things for me is I go swimming 3 times a week. And just to get that exercise helps me to feel better and to be more effective in everything else I do.
This is such good advice because, I think a lot of us just get so caught up in the business. It's easy to lose a few hours, isn't it? Especially when you're doing the online work.
It's easy to forget about taking care of you.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much for that reminder. And thank you so much, both of you, for being here. I know it's quite late where you are. So thank you so much for staying up and speaking to me today. Really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you having us on, Brooklyn. It's been a pleasure.
We really enjoyed it. So thank you very much.
Me too. We might have to get you on again in the future. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening today. I really hope that you enjoyed it and got a lot of value from it. Help me help others by sharing this podcast. And if you feel called to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, remember to let me know so that I can send you a very special thank you gift. Now go and build your dream business, and I will see you next time. Bye.